The Matthew Books. Matthew, Tell Me About Heaven, a first-hand description of the afterlife by Suzanne Ward. Published by Matthew Books. Part 2. Nirvana. Buildings. Suzanne, are your buildings like ours in size, appearance, and construction, or totally unlike anything I'd recognize? Matthew, you would have no trouble at all recognizing our buildings, Mother, but you would look at them in amazement because they glow. The construction materials are discarnate substances whose density encompasses a glowing frequency. However, there is considerable difference in the luminous intensity of the buildings. All public buildings glow more than residential ones, but there are degrees of luminosity in both types of structures. The homes of our masters and council members glow more than any others, and it has nothing to do with size or style, only with the occupants. That same variance is true of our multi-resident apartment buildings. The extent of emanated light in public buildings is determined by their intended use, which in turn determines the thought processes required for their design and erection. Manifesting huge elaborate buildings with exalted purposes requires immense amounts of increasingly controlled power. The process of manifesting them doesn't take much time, but the arrangements that enable that process to happen involve extensive cooperation and intricate planning by our large force of expert architects and engineers. Our grand hall, which surpasses your largest arenas and majestic cathedrals in size and grandeur, could be considered the crown jewel of all structures throughout this realm. Its gleaming essence will forevermore reflect the light not only of its marble and gold, but also of the energy that accomplished its design and construction. Erecting this magnificent building required thousands of souls working in tandem, with their minds focused in directing energy into specific areas. But before that could happen, there was a lengthy time of concentrating their powers in planning and designing the features that later would be visualized into form. We have many other spectacular public buildings too, and depending upon size and style, the erection of each required correspondingly fewer souls and less planning energy than the Grand Hall. Now, as for the residences, we have many large multi-residence buildings with plain or luxurious apartments that can comfortably accommodate several individuals. Those buildings are similar to yours, but even the smallest and simplest are much more appealing than those you call tenements. Our architectural designs include features for fine design, privacy, and cheerfulness, and the landscaping always is beautiful. Since far more single souls are here at any one time than mates or families, there are many large, attractive dormitory-type buildings. Most are near the center, where colleges and lecture halls and other central civic activities are housed. Single souls may also choose private houses, of course. Every residence size, architectural style, and construction materials that can be visualized are available, from little two-room houses to pretentious manors that require 50 or more souls to plan and erect. Or people may live in a rustic cabin in the mountains, or on a ship, or on a campsite in the woods, if any of those living quarters appeal to them. So you can see that our neighborhoods vary considerably, just as they do on Earth. But in this part of the realm, there's no dirt or trash or decay anywhere. Even slums would have to be manifested, and no one here would choose to do that. So everything is pristine and orderly, and all private and public buildings are maintained in excellent condition. We don't consider any neighbor poor, and there's no wrong side of the tracks. Suzanne, can people choose whatever kind of house and location they want? Matthew, it's a bit more involved than that. There's no ownership, as in deeds and legal documents for assuring clear and uncontested title, and naturally no monetary restrictions. But there is an earning basis for all housing accommodations. It is a system of self-evaluation, both of one's service during the earth lifetime and the spiritual growth here, combined with counsel recommendations for motivation and progress. As one progresses in selected learning, a move to finer living quarters is possible, but it's not required. Our most evolved souls often choose a simple little house rather than the fine estates to which they're entitled. All of our public buildings and apartment houses are manifested by the highly skilled construction workers, and most people request their professional help in the design and manifestation of their homes. The services of this specialized field are made available to everyone, but some individuals choose to build their own houses. Small, uncomplicated structures can be planned and erected by as few as 2 non-professional builders who have studied the principles of construction. At least 2 souls, regardless of training, are required at this realm's level of manifesting capability. Suzanne, why? Since you can manifest whatever weather you want, I'd think that manifesting a simple little house would be a snap. Matthew, a comparison of manifesting weather and a building is like your figure of speech comparing apples and oranges. Manifesting weather uses elements in ready forms. Manifesting buildings requires not only a more complex visualization process, but also the creation of the construction materials. Mother, I'll explain why it takes at least 2 of us to manifest even a tiny building. Think of a flattened cardboard carton. It's 2 walls, but the fold lines. That's the shape building you would get if only one soul were manifesting it, and it would be worthless. To achieve a useful building requires simultaneously one mind visualizing the exterior specifications and another mind focusing on a detailed vision of the interior, and that combination gives the house a functional form. Suzanne, I see, but I'm still surprised by that limitation of manifesting ability there. Matthew, Mother dear, this placement does not offer the zenith of attainment that you still think it does. No soul here has the sufficient concentration momentum to erect by himself even the simplest, smallest building. We're in a learning and growth mode just like you. This realm offers more advanced courses than Earth can, but our capabilities in any field are less than those same types of capabilities in higher density beings. We are 4th density level humans, so you can see that both the intelligence and manifesting capability of souls in the 6th and 7th levels far exceed ours. I know you have heard both density and dimension used to indicate levels of evolvement. The terms are meant to be the same, but density is the more correct because it is a description within the context of natural laws of vibratory rates, and dimension has no such defining characteristics. Other placements may be the same or even higher than we are in soul evolvement, intelligence, and technology, but they may use lower density construction materials. For instance, Fourth density humans living in physical bodies may construct their buildings and spacecraft of materials whose molecular structures can be seen with your third density vision. That is in keeping with their own existence in form. It also is why their spacecraft can be seen from Earth. Suzanne, I'm confused about this density thing. Why can I see a fourth density spacecraft and I can't see your fourth density body when you're right here with me? Matthew, it is the difference of the form only, and not the level of spiritual or intellectual evolvement. Part of the confusion comes from this. Mother, you have only two designations for a state of being, either physical bodies and solid structures or no visible form at all. Since your third density vision can't see any body except a physical one, you consider this realm to be without form or discarnate. This is a discarnate placement with discarnate souls, where everything is done in discarnate fashion. The error is in your interpretation of discarnate, which you consider as life without form or substance. That definitely is not the case with us, as you've seen for yourself in the images we send you. But since you have only two concepts as your options, then describing us and this realm as discarnate is more accurate than any term indicating solid. So, just as we use time within your concept of it so you can understand our explanations, we use discarnate for describing all sanctuary realms and residents to distinguish us from those individuals and placements whose composition is solid. Suzanne, thank you for explaining that. Back to manifesting, please. I still don't understand how you can make something out of thin air. Matthew, the power of manifestation is not known on Earth, so it's no wonder that you don't understand it. That explanation I gave you some time ago was terrible, and I'll try to do better this time. As a process, manifestation is making something by first visualizing exactly what you want and then amassing and directing sufficient thought form energy to produce a substantial form identical to your image. Everything of substance, everything of the surroundings, every aspect of a soul's activities here and on Earth, everything, everywhere is put into effect by the magnitude of power these energy-directing thought forms impart. Suzanne, Matthew, thank you. That's enough for now. This has been a long sitting, and before we end it, I want you to tell me where you live. Matthew, that I'd love to do. I live in one of the large dormitory-type buildings with apartments designed for the comfort and convenience of one person. No kitchen is needed because food is manifested to desired doneness without the need for a stove. So in this building, each apartment only has two rooms, a public area and a private area. Mother, since you're wondering if I couldn't have a house after all the time I've been here, yes, I could, and quite a nice one. But I prefer an apartment for now, and mine suits me perfectly. The basic color is shiny white, and the current accent colors are spring green and brilliant gold and yellow tones. It's like sunshine caught in every inch of this place. Well, I'll show you. You're receiving the image almost correctly, enough to recognize Frank Lloyd Wright's technique of light and shadow for wall decoration rather than pictures. He is a popular architect here. My furniture is similar to your image, but it has simpler lines and is sturdier than you're seeing. There, now you have it exactly. Again. Mother, for an instant, you did get the image correctly. Then you backed off because you felt you were imagining our family furniture instead of seeing mine. You're right. Mine is almost identical to the furniture you had at home. And why not? I like the style then, and I still do. I see you smiling at the bundles of live blossoms and tree branches in big vases throughout my room, so I believe I must have your approval in my decor. Well, since that was our family's decorating style and colors, my choices shouldn't surprise you. Suzanne, I love it all, Matthew. You have created a gorgeous spring day to live in. It's so wonderful for me to be able to envision you in your own home. Thank you, dear. This means so much to me. Matthew, I know it does, Mother. I can feel your excitement. And you are more right on than you thought about my creating a vista of springtime. Remember I told you we can manifest our private surroundings? I've chosen spring outside too. Not only the sunshine and warm breezes, but a whole springtime is outside my windows. You can see that right now I have a woodsy setting so that my view is similar to yours. But I can just as easily have a seashore, a formal garden, a field of cows, or snow-capped mountains. Whatever scenery I can imagine, I can manifest. Suzanne, it's all glorious, and I'm so pleased that you want the same kind of ambiance. Just a bit of Spanish there, as we had when you were here, and now even the woods too. Since the views are what each person chooses, can anyone else see yours or only you? Matthew, anyone who wishes to peek into a private surrounding may do so, but usually that is by request, not a common occurrence. But if someone comes to my apartment, he automatically would see the same view from my windows as I. What casual passerby would see is the landscaping common to all the residents of this building. Suzanne, I see. Apparently everyone decorates inside according to personal taste, just as we do. Matthew, yes, and limitless choices are true of our furniture and all decorations too. Everyone manifests whatever decor appeals at that time, and when they want a fresh look, redecorating can be virtually spontaneous. Mother, you'll have a ball here.